Welcome to SpinJustice with me, Hayley Owens, the podcast where I'll be talking about anything from health and fitness to the injustices of the world and everything in between. I've worked within the criminal justice system for over 20 years and have more recently taken to teaching indoor cycling, otherwise known as spin. Each week I'll be talking to a different guest about a topic that's personal to them, whether it be to raise awareness or just because. Most episodes will contain strong language because of who I am as a person, so if that's not for you, then probably best to swerve. Any opinions expressed by me are my own. And welcome, Laura Loy.
Oh, I've made it.
You've made it. You fucking made it.
Who lets me on their podcast?
Yeah.
This is amazing.
It is amazing. Right, we've got loads to talk about, haven't we?
Always got loads to talk
And
about.
it comes to something when we have to factor to get you in on the podcast to catch up with each other.
Yeah, that's bad, isn't it? That is really bad.
We're both too busy. I tell you what, I've got a slot 12 o'clock on Thursday.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. Absolutely.
Just
Yeah.
ignore the cameras. We'll just have a quick chat and a quick catch up.
Quick catch up and then we'll leave it for another few weeks. Then all right then.
Give it dinner or something. Right, come on, let's tell everybody how we know each other and how long it's been.
How long has it been?
Do you know what I was thinking about this? Well, the boys are 14, aren't they?
Yeah.
So it was before we were pregnant.
Yeah.
Because obviously I remember us both being pregnant roughly around the same time with them.
So you were in the block.
So yeah, we both worked for the same police force, didn't we?
Yeah, we
back
did.
Then.
Yeah.
And I worked in custody at the time.
Yeah.
I don't. Where were you at the time? Were you on
Traffic, I think. Yeah, yeah.
And obviously, because both of us were pregnant, we weren't allowed to do our jobs properly, or front line. Of. So we'll put them in a cupboard somewhere.
Yeah. Keep them out the way. Don't be
way.
getting injured or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I can remember texting you on your wedding day, and we weren't really friends then. I mean, how long ago was that?
Oh, God.
Do you remember?
I got married in 2010.
14 years.
14 years, yeah. We were well, you must have had Aidan just after because he's a January baby.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I got married in January.
Yeah, yeah.
So
we've been together a long time, haven't we?
We've seen
through
it.
thick and thin.
Oh, fucking hell. There's been some ups and downs. Jesus Christ. I think we have probably seen each other at our highest highs and our fucking lowest lows.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
No, like the pits of like the deepest, darkest place in the world. We've been there, haven't we?
Yeah. And we've known each other all that time.
Yeah.
And yeah, it all started before we had kids.
Yeah, yeah. Those were the days.
Those were the fucking days.
If we knew now.
Yeah.
What did I say? If you knew now.
Yeah.
I don't know, anyway, whatever it is.
So obviously that's how we knew each other through. We worked not together, but in the same building.
Yeah, yeah.
Both pregnant at the same time.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you say, around the times when... Were you married then?
Wait, 2008 I got married.
Oh, so you were married then?
Yeah, yeah.
Because you moved away and came back.
Moved away, came back, still friends, weren't we?
Yeah.
And then just kind of, I don't even know how we got into being proper friends.
No?
Anyway, doesn't matter, does it?
Well, I suppose with the boys being the same age, we were both on maternity leave at the same time.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
remember? Because I remember coming over to see you.
Oh, in the flat in Shirley?
Yeah.
Ah, this is coming back to me now, yeah?
And they were babies. The boys were babies.
Yeah.
So,
God.
And now they're in year 10. So, yeah.
Yeah, here's a baby. Do you know what to do with it?
No.
Is there a fucking handbook? Let's Google it. What do we do with these kids?
Yeah. Well, how old were you?
Isn't it? 30 when I had Aidan.
I was 24.
Yeah, so you were a baby.
And none of my friends had kids.
Yeah, yeah.
So there weren't really anyone to ask.
Yeah, yeah. Apart from our Dawn.
Our Dawn.
Our
knows
Dawn.
everything.
We love Dawn, don't we?
Yeah.
Everybody wants a Dawn. That's Hayley's mum. Everyone wants a Dawn, don't they?
Yeah, everyone needs a Dawn.
Yeah.
A Dawny dinner on a Sunday.
Mm.
And, oh, God. But I was, we'll come into it, but I was manic back then anyway. I just remember I weren't myself when he was a baby.
Yeah. It was tough, wasn't it?
I just don't think I knew what to do. But anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we say, friends for a long time. And... yeah, I just think...
Come on now, I'm building up to this. I'm waiting for what you're going to say.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I think you're going to drop something on me.
I'm not going to drop anything. You've had a prompt. You know what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, we're going to talk about mental health, aren't we? Mental health, having babies, postnatal depression.
Yeah.
We're just going to say it as it is.
Yeah. And right, let's go back then to like before we had kids. What was your mental health like then?
So I reckon I was a reasonably stable person. So this is before I met you now. So when I was I joined the police when I was 19.
Yeah.
When I was 21, I was in a accident in a police car.
Yeah.
Long story short, I'm not even going to go into that, but that was really, really shit times for me. And it was back in the day when the police would look after you and they paid for psychologists and stuff like that. And I had PTSD and everything. But did you know this, that once you've had PTSD or some type of trauma, you're more likely and more susceptible to
getting it again.
Of course, we know this. But I'd worked through that and that had taken me years of work. So what I mean by this was, so I was in the passenger seat of the police car, knocked over a pedestrian, life-changing injuries. And the way that I dealt with that was to confront it head on and to go onto traffic.
Right.
Yeah, so all of these kind of, just got to throw yourself in there and you just got to move on. And it took me years. But talking about the kids, I was on an even, I had Neil. We met in 2006.
Yeah.
He's very stable, isn't he? He's very chilled. Yeah. He's a rock, isn't he, really?
Yeah.
Neil's a keeper, let's be honest.
Yes, he is.
We've known Neil a long time.
Yeah. So, with him being there, a constant support, I suppose, like, for those years, just, 4 years or so, or whatever before...
Aidan came along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your adult life, I mean, from joining the police and stuff, pretty stable.
Yeah.
Probably no different to anybody else.
No, absolutely not, no.
I think I was... Well, everyone will probably know that I've always been a bit nuts. But I do think definitely anxiety's got worse for me after having kids.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I think probably before that. I used to be, not anymore, but I used to be a massive overthinker.
Yeah.
And really maybe probably a real worrier, actually.
You were a proper worrier.
Yeah, worry about all sorts of shit.
If you look back to your darkest times of when you were working in custody and you had the boys and they were very little.
Oh, God. But
you were neurotic.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
but that's what I mean. It was after children. Beforehand, I was a worrier and an overthinker.
Yeah.
But I think the real hard times came after.
Yeah.
I would say.
But let's be honest, everybody else out there is also having a hard time.
Oh, God,
but we're fortunate because we've always been able to speak about it.
Yeah.
And we've got a good support network and we can say it as it is, whereas lots of people haven't got that support to go, fucking hell, I'm having a really shit time.
Yeah.
This bloody baby has just screwed me.
Yeah.
I'm on my knees, and lots of people haven't got that support. They can't talk openly.
Even if it's not after children, some people might just be having a hard time because and can't talk about it.
Because life is hard.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
So what was you like then through your first pregnancy?
So we got married 2018? No.
2008. Come on now.
Come on now. Bit manic this morning, 2008, yeah. So we wanted Aidan and, no, I'll go back actually because I didn't want to have kids. Neil didn't want to have kids, but we both come from backgrounds where our dads hadn't been around.
Yeah.
Which is probably why we didn't want them. Anyway, and I got to 30, as you do, and you hear this story a lot, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to have kids.
Yeah.
And we were this, and now I knew Neil was good dad material, right? So Neil was always going to be the best dad there is. And everybody says, my husband's the best dad and all the rest of it. No, Neil proper is, yeah? So I knew that he was a stable, he was a keeper, Neil was. So when we decided to have Aidan, we'd been trying for, I was thinking about this earlier, over a year. So he was very much wanted.
Yeah.
We were in a good position in life. We'd come back from Bristol. We'd moved back up to Shirley and he was wanted. Now, the pregnancy was a easy pregnancy.
Yeah.
Apart from him being breech, it was easy. There's no morning sickness, any of that.
Oh, yeah.
Remember those days?
My pregnancies were both an absolute dream.
Yeah.
I loved being pregnant. I loved it, honestly.
That's really weird.
I loved it. If I could be pregnant now, I'd be pregnant. But obviously we know what comes after, don't we? So you think,
So we wouldn't, would we?
So we wouldn't, and probably it would be different now, wouldn't it? Because I'm older. So it probably wouldn't be the same. But I was 24, so I was in the best, time of my life carry a baby.
Yeah.
I loved it. I weren't sick. I loved it.
Well, I wouldn't say I loved it. It was just neither here nor there. It was all right, you know.
Yeah.
It was a good pregnancy. It was okay. He was a planned C-section because he was breech,
Yes.
the little rebel. And it was okay, you know. And I had a C-section, planned C-section in the January, and I'll never forget, 2010, and the snow was horrendous.
Yes.
Do you remember?
Yeah, it snowed on my wedding day, didn't it?
Yeah. Snow was horrendous. And I'd read, I know what's the name of that book, and I would have told you about it because I was neurotic at that time in terms of, and we know this, don't we, when you're in a job where it's got to be, you know what I'm trying to say? We've got a process that we need to follow, haven't we?
Yeah.
And we've got some kind of control. And I thought to myself, very naively, this book, and I can't remember the name of it for the life of me anyway, I read this book about 20 times, and it was basically about getting your kid into a routine.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember?
Fucking can't remember, no. But
anyway, so it was saying, do this at this time, you've got to sleep at this time. So I was quite neurotic at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then at some point, I had an injury in the police in 2007. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
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 So what was really hard for me was Aidan came home from hospital. Neil had, what did they have, 2 weeks?
2 weeks off.
2 weeks paternity leave.
Yeah.
He was doing a very important job at that point.
Yeah.
And he could only have that 2 weeks off. Now, my hand was in a cast, out of a cast, in a cast, out of a cast for fucking years this went on for.
Yeah.
So why I thought it was a good idea to have a child, I don't know. But anyway, by the by, doesn't matter, does it? And then you're left at home with this baby.
Yeah. And one hand.
And one hand.
Yeah. On your own.
How the hell do you cope with that?
Yeah. Yeah, because I always remember that when I think back to those times and you with a baby, I think about your hand.
Yeah.
And how you were one-handed.
Yeah. And, you know, it's not the whole, oh, woe me, because we've got people, we know, you know, people with all sorts of kind of things going on that do amazing things in life. But it was a really hard time.
Yeah.
Changing nappies, feeding. He had, what's it called?
Colic.
No. He was lactose intolerant, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Brilliant. Just what you want when you can't feed your baby one-handed.
Yeah.
So there was all of that, and that was real tough. And I remember, I don't know whether I ever told you this, I'd moved across to Bourneville and I was working 2 days a week.
Don't know. Go on.
So after he was 3 months old, thought to myself, God, I need to go back to work. I'm going to work 2 days. Neil would have him. I worked a Sunday and a Monday. And I was out in a car with a bloke I didn't particularly know, going out to do something, I can't remember. And he came up in conversation about his wife.
Yeah.
And he talked about, and I can remember it vividly, we were at Robin Hood Island.
Yeah.
I was in the passenger seat and he was talking to me about his wife. And he was saying that his wife had a chemical imbalance.
Right.
And that she had postnatal depression.
Yeah.
And bearing in mind, Aidan's probably 3 or 4 months old at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, chemical imbalance, is there such thing as a chemical imbalance, or is she just struggling to look after the kid?
Yeah.
And I didn't really think much of it at that time. But now on reflection, yes, there can be a chemical imbalance.
You're fucking right, they can.
But I don't know whether I was young, naive, not interested, thinking it's not going to happen to me.
Yeah.
What's he talking about? His wife's got postnatal depression, he's on all his tablets. What the hell?
Yeah.
So I was oblivious at that point. For what point did it get to when?
Well, what point did it get to? Because
I don't know.
What was your mental health like? Obviously, like we've already said, you've got your hand injury. Neil's back at work. You've got this newborn baby that you don't know what to do with.
Yeah.
You've gone back to work. I would probably say, was that too early? I mean, I went back at 4 months when I had Jack.
Yeah.
I was skint.
But you know why I went back? Because I went back to have a rest, didn't I?
Yeah.
So, you know, there'll be people listening to this and, you know, we're really quick to judge people, aren't we? And say, oh, God, they've gone back to work really quick. And, you know, I was only saying it about a girl in the village the other day. Oh, God, gone back to work really quick. But actually, I went back to work for a rest.
Yeah.
Just to escape to be me, rather than just being a mum.
Yeah.
You just want to be you, don't you?
Yeah. So would you say your postnatal, were you suffering with any sort of postnatal depression then?
I don't know. I can't remember at what point, because obviously we block things out, don't we?
Yeah.
And I can remember Neil saying to me, I think we need to go to the doctors.
Yeah.
I can remember that part of it. I can't remember actually going to the doctors.
Okay.
And I can't remember much. But from I think we need to go to the doctor's conversation, the next bit of kind of my memory is I end up at they used to call it the QEPH, don't they? What do they call it now?
It's the Polyester.
Polyester.
The Polyester, yeah.
So they got a mother and baby unit there.
Yeah.
And the next bit of my memory from then is being as an outpatient at the mother and baby unit.
Yeah.
And so I'd go there twice a week and a taxi would come and pick me up because I couldn't drive because of my hand and all the rest of it. So I can remember going to that outpatient clinic twice a week, having baby groups, having psychotherapy or psychiatric, whatever they were called,
Yeah.
And that's probably the first memory, that the realisation of, you got postnatal depression.
Okay, yeah. Because I think for me, it wasn't, I don't think I had postnatal depression with Thomas, but I do think my anxiety went through the fucking roof.
Yeah.
From the minute he was born, I was manic. Because
Manic
I was scared to death that something was going to happen to him.
Yeah.
Scared to death.
Yeah.
I watched him breathe constantly. You know those times when they go and start sleeping in their own room, they're like 6 months old or something.
And you've got the baby monitor.
No, fuck the monitor. I was in there. I was fucking in there watching him breathing.
Fuck the monitor.
And I used to just be falling to sleep, yeah. So I'd checked him a million times already through the night, yeah. But I'd just be dropping off. And this thing used to come over me, like, go and check him.
Yeah.
And it was, the monitors these days are fucking fantastic. It weren't like that. It was, It didn't have a picture.
Did you not have one with a picture?
Not with Thomas.
Not
I did with Jack.
Yeah.
With Thomas, it was a noise thing,
Yeah, proper old-fashioned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I do remember that I couldn't look at anything. It was a noise one. So I'd go into him and he was fine.
Of course he was.
Fine. I was not fine.
Yeah, but is this because of, I don't know, do you think every parent is very similar in terms of you've got this kind of instinct to protect them, haven't you, and to keep them alive? You've grown them for so long. Or is it the fact of, because we've seen what we've seen through work, we're more hypervigilant?
I think hypervigilance massively came to the fore for me when I had kids and then. But if I weren't checking on him 24/7, I was convinced that something was wrong with him. You know those red books you got from the hospital?
Health visitor thing, yeah.
His red book was fucking full because I constantly took him to the doctors and got him weighed.
Oh, see, I don't remember this.
So he's, at the doctors by us, lived in Bartley Green at the time. There was a baby clinic every Thursday.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, I've got no friends that have got kids. I've got nothing to do. No one's on maternity leave. I'm at home with a baby on my own.
Yeah.
So because there was this baby clinic, it was something to do. So I used to walk there on a Thursday, sit there, get him weighed, and they'd write it in the book. Oh, my God, it was full.
Did they have to go onto another page or something? Glue a page in?
Yeah, pages. To the point where any time he was slightly poorly, I'd take him to the hospital. Because 9 times out of 10 it'd be in the night and the doctors wouldn't be open.
Yeah.
I was down in the children's constantly.
Who knew?
Oh, God, it was terrible. I'm probably making it sound like a lot worse than what it was, but I know that it wasn't the same when I had Jack.
Yeah.
And I'll come on to something different in a bit about our hypervigilance and stuff, because that was definitely when I had Jack.
Yeah.
But with Thomas, I was just so scared to death that something was going to happen to him. And I think as well, like you say, things that we're exposed to at work. And I think possibly I'd be dealing with people in custody who would be arrested for child neglect. And
absolutely,
the circumstances of that would constantly come into my head. And be like, well, I don't think he's very well, so I'm just going to take him to the hospital just to make sure that I've done the right thing, because if anything does happen, I can see that do you know what I mean? Oh, it's over the fucking top.
Yeah.
But I wasn't depressed, I don't think. I was just very, very anxious.
The thing is, what is the definition of depressed, I
wasn't crying, I don't think. I wasn't sad. I was on edge.
Yeah.
So I would say I was more massive anxiety.
Yeah.
I mean, I do recall potentially having the baby blues in the first couple of days after he was born, but I think that's very normal.
I think this is normal because
it is.
You talk about postnatal depression. I'm thinking back to when I used to go to the Barbary mother and baby unit, and I used to turn up. And how do you get the diagnosis, the label, the whatever, postnatal depression? What is the criteria for that? I don't know. I still don't know now. But it was fucking bad. Because obviously I was going to hospital twice a week, so it must have been bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think as well, don't forget, some people don't even go to the doctors. They might feel really shit.
Yeah.
And be really down or whatever, but they might not even tell anybody. So they're not going to get a diagnosis, are they? Because they've not shared that with anyone. Doesn't mean to say it hasn't happened.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
just because we can't see it doesn't mean it's not real, does it?
Exactly.
This is the thing.
So I think definitely for me, after giving birth, I was in a state.
Yeah.
But I didn't take any medication or anything like that. I didn't go to the doctors about it. I was, well, that came later, obviously. But,
obviously, yeah.
But at that time, to all intents and purposes, I was a 24-year-old girl that had a baby and she was getting on with it.
Yeah. She was doing all right.
Doing all right.
Doing all right, yeah.
Back at work, I had 9 months off with him. Went back to work after 9 months, back on shifts.
Yeah.
Hard,
yeah.
Skint.
Yeah. Stressful.
You know, stressful, seeing fucking all sorts of horrible shit that you don't want to deal with. Going home to your baby.
Yeah.
You know, anyway.
It's hard, isn't it? It's hard being a parent.
Yeah, no doubt.
For anyone.
It, no matter what age they are.
But, you know, when you look at people, so I've got little George, as you know.
Yeah.
And me and Neil used to look after George. So
Yes.
George is 5 now. So we had him when he was 2, didn't we, on a Thursday and a Friday, because we came to, we spent a lot of time with you, didn't we?
Yeah.
Anyway, so little George, I take him to playgroups and stuff. And I used to look at people and I used to be listening to conversations. And, you know, those moms, and everybody knows these moms, right? You look at them and from the outside, they've got their shit together.
Yeah.
You know, they look great, the baby, you know, whatever. And they're saying they've done this, and this. And you think, oh, how have they got their shit together? But actually what you don't know is what's going on behind the closed doors, do you?
I remember a friend of mine saying to me at a playgroup, so I'd got the 2 of them at this time because I only met this girl after I'd had Jack. I remember her saying to me at playgroup, I'd love to be your kid. I'd love to be your child because you think of everything. I'd got snacks. I'd got drinks. I'd got spare nappy, spare clothes. I'd got everything on me that you could think of. If they wanted anything, it was there.
It was there, yeah.
But at that time, it was probably around the time that I started having some real intense treatment.
Yeah.
Around that time about my anxieties and how obsessed I was with keeping them safe.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's what it was for you, about keeping them safe, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas I never had that problem. I was a bit of a danger to my kids at one point, wasn't I?
Yeah.
You know, the whole kind of keeping them safe wasn't really on my agenda.
No. So let's talk about that then, because was that lot more so with your second?
So, yeah, So I remember vividly, I had this psychiatrist, right, when I was in the Barbary. And I may have told you this.
Might have done.
I'm the type of person, and I know you're the same. So I'm in this session and I'm on an outpatient, Aiden's in the nursery and whatever else. And I'm talking to this psychiatrist. And all of a sudden she starts crying. And this psychiatrist ends up telling me her problems.
I didn't know this.
Did you? I can't even remember her name. Honestly, I'm sat in this room and I know this psychiatrist pretty well because I've been under her care for quite a long time.
Yeah.
And she happened to mention something about, because I always ask people how they are because I'm actually interested, you know, and I'd said something about her son. Anyway, it ended up being like some kind of counselling session, like I was the psychiatrist. Anyway, that's by the by. The important point she said to me is, if you're ever thinking about having another child, you need to make sure you come back, you go to your GP and you get re-referred to me to the mother and baby unit. Okay, that's fine. So as Aidan got a bit older, I'd said to Neil, I want another one. As you do, we all do this, don't we? Oh, it'd be really nice they can play together. No, they don't fucking play together, just fight all the time. Anyway, so I went back and Neil didn't want to. So basically, you know, he was forced into having another child, you know, just because I wanted one.
Yeah.
And I can remember my dad saying, do you think this is a wise idea? Going back to what you've been through with Aidan.
Yeah.
Do you think this is a wise idea? And I can remember saying, I'll be absolutely fine. I'm in a much better place. Well, as we know, I wasn't in a much better place.
No.
How did all of that even...
Well, I just remember it just got a whole lot worse, didn't it?
I'll tell you how it started. So I was at a play group because, like you say, you've got to get out of the house, haven't you? Because when you're in the house by yourself, any parent knows this, it's really hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you've got to get out, haven't you, to know that you're not the only one struggling.
Yeah.
So I was out at a play group, Coxmore Woods, remember it vividly, right?
Yeah.
I've got Aidan, who's a toddler. There's 2.5 years between them. I've got Rose, who's very, very little. I'm talking 2 or 3 weeks old, right? And I'm trying to keep my shit together. And this toddler will not do what he's told.
Aidan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get the baby ready and get her and all the rest of it. And I can remember wanting to actually kill this child. And I thought, he's not doing what I want him to do. And obviously everybody wants to be in control.
Yeah.
But we've got no control of these kids, have we?
No.
You can't train him. You know, he's 2.5. He won't do what I want him to do. And I can remember being in such a state that on the way home, I had this thought in my head, I'm just going to drive the fucking car into a tree. Because I can't deal with him. I can't deal with the baby. I've still got my hand issues at this point, so I can't feed him properly. And my hand is in constant pain. Yeah. And I'm thinking, what's the point of life?
Yeah, yeah.
What I'll do, I'll just drive. And I was kind of in a trance. But I'd scared myself to the point where I can remember ringing up Neil and saying, I nearly killed us.
Yeah.
I wanted to kill us.
Right. Fucking hell.
That's not right, is it?
No.
You know you need some serious help at that point.
Yeah, but you had the rational side of the brain telling you that it wasn't right.
This is true.
Yeah. You knew that it wasn't right and you phoned Neil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was already, I've been really fortunate. You hear real bad stories about people not getting the support that they need.
Yes.
And I've been so fortunate,
yes.
You know, because I was already in the system.
Exactly. So hang on, just rewind. That doctor said to you, if ever you think about having another child, make sure you come back and get re-referred. Had you been re-referred before you gave birth?
Yes. So I was re-referred because that's what she told me we had to do.
Right.
So we did that.
You were in that system with your second
baby
Now.
already.
So were you this play group, presumably you're in the system. Have you had any appointments at this stage?
Yeah, so I've had appointments leading up to the birth. Had appointments. They've changed my medication, of course, because I'm still on the same medication I've had when I was there with Aidan as an outpatient. And I'm on medication, but they've changed it because I want to breastfeed.
Oh, okay.
So that's fine. So I'm already on the medication. I'm in the system and stuff. You know, I'm getting a lot of support, but I feel this need to just wipe us out.
Right.
There's no regard for Neil or what if, you know, there's just that I've got to end this pain. I can't cope with these children. I can't cope with life. Just want to end it.
And what did Neil say?
So I can't remember very much, to be honest. But the next thing I can remember is conversations going on. And because obviously I knew this psychiatrist very well, she was on holiday. So somebody had phoned this psychiatrist who was on holiday. I don't know who.
Okay.
But she had got me a bed in the mother and baby ward.
Right.
As an inpatient.
Yes.
And I can remember thinking, oh, thank God for that.
Yeah.
Thank God somebody's... So at this point, Rose is really little.
Yeah.
And I can remember being in the house and packing up some stuff, and I wanted to take the bottle steriliser and stuff like that because I knew I was going into hospital.
Yeah.
But I didn't really know what to expect because I don't know whether you know, did you ever come and visit me?
Not in the mother and baby.
That's a different topic, isn't it? Yeah.
I came to visit you, but it wasn't then.
Yeah. So in the mother and baby, so when I was an outpatient, you're obviously not securely within the building, yeah?
Yeah.
There's obviously a secure door, but you can kind of...
Come and go.
Yeah, because you're not an inpatient. When you're an inpatient, you're behind that locked door that you can only scan to get in.
Right.
Yeah.
Who can scan you in? Just
So the
a member of
staff.
staff. Right. So
You ain't getting in and you ain't getting out without someone.
Right.
A member of staff, yeah? And I can remember turning up at the mother and baby unit, and I knew a couple of the women there from the groups, as in the staff. And there was this lovely, lovely girl there who worked as a nurse, you know, she's lovely. Come on, Laura, you know, we'll look after you. And basically I was a danger to Rose.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And Aidan. But Aidan stayed at home with Neil, took Rose in. And I think I've had this conversation with you because you can remember being in the block at work So for people that don't know, when you've got a prisoner or someone and they're on suicide watch, you've got someone sat outside the cell, haven't you, so that they don't do anything. And I can remember walking into this mother and baby unit and they're taking me to my room, got this little baby, and opposite my room's another room and there's somebody on suicide watch.
Right.
And I thought, oh my God, what have I let myself in for? What's all this about?
So was that by a nurse, presumably, that, you know, in the unit?
Yeah, yeah.
They're sort of like how we would have done a cell door watch in custody.
Yeah,
it would have been like a ward sort of watch, one-to-one, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So you presumably weren't that bad, but you needed the help. You needed to take her in with you because she was so little.
Yeah.
But you couldn't cope at home.
Yeah.
So presumably you took her in, and how long did you stay for?
I think it was 3 or 4 weeks, you know. But of course, then you've got the guilt of...
You were the child.
You were the child you've left at home, Neil, and everything else. And I can remember the one night being there, and there was a woman there, and she was obviously really, really poorly. And there's me saying about, you know, wanting to commit suicide and kill us all and all the rest of it. But this woman was proper psychotic poorly. You know, she was having visions of people coming after her and everything. And I thought, wow, she's really poorly. Am I actually in the right place here?
Yeah.
It was a real mix of people.
Yeah, because I suppose you had to go in because you were a danger to the three of you, presumably. But then she needed to be in that place as well for her own reasons.
Yeah, yeah.
So you were in the right place because you needed to be there as much as she did.
Yeah.
So
it was crazy.
Yeah. I remember it just being a big old blur of a time.
Yeah.
I do remember quite a lot of it. But then you came out, she's a baby, still, obviously. She's like, what, 5 or 6 weeks old maybe at this point. Yeah. And then medication-wise, what were you taking then?
You know, I've never been ashamed of medication.
No, good.
And we've had this conversation many times, haven't we, over the years?
Yeah.
Anyone that is offered medication, how do you know whether it's going to work unless you try it? The whole stigma of, oh no, I'm not having tablets, Take fucking anything.
Yeah.
Anything they give you, because if it helps you, I'm not ashamed. You know me. I'll tell anyone that I've been on medication since I had Aidan.
Yeah.
The same medication. So much so, you said to me this morning, didn't we, before we started recording, have you had your medicine this morning? You had your meds, Laura? Oh, that's a different story. Yeah. You know, because I've got a bit confused with what's happening with my meds. And no, I haven't had my meds.
Yeah.
So I'm still on it now.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's for other reasons, as we know.
Yeah. So I think with me, like just on the medication topic, you know that I was sort of anti-meds for a long time.
You were? And how many times did I say to you?
So many times. Not just you. So many people said to me, you need something. And I was like, no, you know, I'm just going to like have some counselling and, I don't know, do some meditation.
Oh, what was that really nice guy that you had? Do you remember him? He was lovely.
I've had several, haven't I? Therapists.
Yeah, but the really nice one. He was really nice.
What was I've tried to blur it all out, Laura.
I know, yeah. We tried to erase that shit, don't we?
Through my emails, I'd find him, but God, there's been that many. I remember, rewind now to... Jack was about 2. And I was still working in the block at the time. Fucking shifts. Knackered.
Fucking work. Never mind shifts, work.
Yeah, and I was tired and I've got the 2 of them. And Thomas is in reception at school at this point and he cried every day and they used to have to peel him off me at the door.
Oh.
Cried every day nursery, every day reception, every day year 1, that boy.
Did it?
Yeah, he did.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, and they used to have to peel him off me. And it started off when I would also be in tears at the door. But then it got to the point where I just used to get really pissed off with it because it started when he got up.
Yeah.
So he didn't want to leave me. And I think it was me that did this.
Yeah.
And that now I've got Jack at this point as well. And as much as my pregnancies were amazing and the birth was amazing with Jack and he was such an easy baby. Because I'd got the experience from the first time round, my anxieties hadn't changed. And so many people had said to me, you know, about meds and all of that. And I think it got to the point it got to a very stressful point. Thomas was in reception. Jack was a baby. And no, he wasn't a baby, he was a toddler.
Yeah.
And I turned up at work one day and I just sat crying in the car park for ages. I went into work. I was working with our Shares at the time.
And, good old Shares, yeah.
And I remember her saying to me, "You're not well. Like, you know, you are not well."
Yeah.
And I weren't well. But I was so, like we talked about before, paranoid and obsessed with keeping them safe. Thomas had come home from school, and as you know, my boys go to a Catholic school, and they'd been to church. What the fuck
gosh, I remember the church thing.
What the fuck did I expect?
I don't know.
He's gone to a Catholic school. He's come home and he's told me he's gone to church. Well, obviously I didn't know he was going to church.
Yeah.
I didn't know how school operated because he's my first one at school.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, what? Who was there? And I didn't want to question him too much. But I went into school the next day and I was like, right, he's told me he's been to church. Who was there? Was he left alone? I'm convinced he's been fiddled with by a priest.
Yeah.
Because pretty much every day at work, we were dealing with sex offenders, whether they be teachers, sports coaches, priests.
Anything, yeah.
Anybody. So why, if I'm dealing with that every single day, why is it going to be different in my home life, which is a mile down the road?
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm now convinced that this is going to happen to me and my family.
Yeah.
And I went into school and I was like, he said he's been to church. Who was there? And they were like, no, we go as a class. No one's ever left alone. It's next door.
Next door to the church. Yeah.
So we haven't got a, it's not a big travel.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. I ended up having counselling through the school about that because I was so about teachers and anybody that wasn't within my trusted circle.
Yeah.
I remember someone asking him for a sleepover and I was like, no.
That's a whole different topic of conversation, isn't it? Letting your kids sleep somewhere else.
I know you because I see you at school. I don't know you well. I definitely don't know your fucking husband.
Yeah, yeah.
And my kid ain't staying at your house. How offensive is that to people? But it just weren't happening.
Yeah, yeah.
It still ain't happened. I mean, now they're teenagers. They will stop over at their friends' houses, but they're men now. Do you know what I mean? Fucking size of him.
Yeah, yeah.
I've relaxed, obviously, and I've had a lot of treatment and I've taken a lot of medication and stuff as the years have gone on. But at that stage, I was like, no. And I actually think I sort of almost got Tom onto my way of thinking because I almost convinced him that they weren't safe.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know whether I'll have to ask him whether he thought that way in the first place or whether it was me coming home telling him stories every day that made him think that way. I don't know. But they weren't going out of my sight and that was the end of that.
Simple as.
Simple as.
Simple as that.
Fast forward on then to having Jack and going back. Say fast forward, rewinding them all over the place. It's such a fucking blur.
Yeah.
But I remember going back to work after having Jack. I was skint, like I said. He was 4 months old. Needed some money. We were going to Cyprus to stay with Kaylee and family.
Yeah.
And thought, right, I'll get back to work. It's fine. Back at working in custody still at the time. You're on a fucking cell door watch. Hayley, you're on an early. You're on a cell door watch.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, whatever, JDR one, sit on this cell door, this woman. Now, she has killed her baby. And
brilliant. That's what you fucking want.
So I've just come back off maternity leave.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, my baby's the same age as this child.
Yeah, yeah.
And she had given her baby methadone. And I think she had probably been doing it. I don't think it was the first time. I don't know. But I think she'd probably been giving the baby methadone to get it to sleep so she could continue with her drug taking.
Yeah.
But she'd given too much and she'd killed him.
Oh, for God's sake.
And I'm now on this cell door watch of this woman that's killed her baby. And I remember going home from that shift, crying my eyes out. Couldn't wait to get home to hug my kids.
Yeah, yeah.
And the impact that had was that any time I had to give my kids medicine, I was paranoid.
I remember this. Yeah, it was real bad, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, fucking hell, they're having Calpol.
In a syringe that's got
the mil on it. What can I have? Like
honestly.
5 mil max or something ridiculous.
I don't know.
So you look on the box, don't you? Or the
you
bottle,
used to reread that box, didn't you?
What was I like, Laura? I was a mess.
You could have cited that.
I knew what for the age they could have. So 0 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 12.
2.5, whatever,
2.5 or 5, whatever it was that they could take.
Yeah.
That was all I was going to give them. Do you think that was simple in my mind? No, it wasn't.
Was it? No.
I thought, I'm going to overdose them. I'm going to fucking methadone in my house, have I?
I can remember. We're laughing, but it wasn't for. It was horrendous, wasn't it?
It was Calpol, for fuck's sake.
I know.
I was terrible. I'd read that bottle and I'd check the syringe and I'd measure it out.
Yeah.
And I'd check it and I'd read it again and I'd give it to them. Then I'd only fucking check on them every fucking 5 minutes to make sure that they were fine. I mean, imagine if I'd give them an extra mil or 5 of Calpol. Would they have been fine? I imagine they'd have been fine.
Yeah.
Do you think I could process that? No. Because the effect it had on me, I still think about it to this day, about that scenario and me dealing with her and then going home to my baby and how it affected me in such a, it sounds ridiculous. It sounds ridiculous.
It does, but it was very real though, wasn't it, at the time?
Oh my God. I remember thinking.
I can remember thinking, fucking hell, this is just not right, is it?
No.
You're just a bit poorly here now, chick.
I'm a bit poorly now, yeah.
You need to have some meds here now.
Yeah,
come on, get on the script.
Still didn't have meds.
Get on the script, quick.
Still didn't have meds. So at this point now, I go to Birmingham Healthy Minds. Great. Can't thank enough. I've self-referred.
Yeah, brilliant.
And I had loads of counselling. I remember going and they say, right, okay, what's your issues? And me telling them the issues. And there's this like cognitive behavioural therapy, do you remember? Yeah. And they level it, don't they? So level 2 is with a level 2 practitioner.
Yeah.
And level 3 is with a level 3 practitioner. I remember them assessing me and going, yeah, I think like you...
There's no hope for you.
I think that like we need to do quite a bit of work with you. But at the minute, we don't really want to let you go with no treatment. So what we're going to do is start you off on the level 2 just so you're in.
Yeah, in the system.
We're doing some work with you. But because it was about a 9-month wait, I think, for a level 3.
Yeah.
And just get your foot in the door and do the level 2 for fuck's sake. And then we've got
let's just get her in,
And then eventually I ended up having about 12 months intense treatment in the end. And it fucking helped me no end. I tell you what. They introduced me to meditation.
Yes.
Do you remember those days?
There's a good topic, because
brilliant.
You've got to have, the medicine, all of this, whatever medicine they offer you is great. And my Neil and his thoughts on medication.
Yes.
Lots of people are the same, oh no, you've got to help yourself and all the rest of it. Yes, you've got to help yourself, but why not have a bit of medicine as well? Yeah. Bit of meditation, bit of mindfulness, you've got to look after yourself.
Well, it was back then, I'm going back probably 10 years now, but it was all about the mindfulness. And I didn't really...
That headspace thing was relatively new, wasn't it?
Do I still use Headspace to this day? Yes, I do. We talked about it on the episode with Dave, because Dave does meditation every morning.
Yeah.
I like to use guided meditation.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that I've done enough of it over the last 10 years that I don't need it guided.
Yeah.
But my mind goes all over the place, so sometimes I need to be kept on the straight and narrow. So I was doing the mindfulness and I was doing the meditation. 6 months, every day, meditation I did. I didn't have a drink, because we all know I like a beer and a wine.
And we all know alcohol, when you're depressed, is not a good combination.
No. And I didn't drink for 6 months, and this is at the time I became obsessed with the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was in the gym 5-6 days a week.
Yeah.
And I weren't drinking, and I was doing my meditation every day, still not taking any meds, but having my CBT.
Yeah, but your gym is your kind of medicine at this point, isn't it?
I was doing well. I think we all will agree I lost a lot of weight.
God, yeah.
I was probably down to about 8.
You were ridiculous.
Very, very slim at the time. Was I happy? I was happier than I was in a long time. I'm a lot happier now, but back then I was doing all right,
Yeah.
I didn't never go and work back in the block after that.
Yeah.
I never went
back. Because you came to me to Belgrave, didn't we?
Yeah.
Remember?
So I never actually went back into custody after that period of time. I had 6 months off sick, and I was poorly. I was doing those things every day, not drinking, meditating, going to the gym, and all of that. Really strict with myself. And I did fixed myself, I think.
Yeah.
I was still having treatment when I went back to work for a good few months. But as we know, I went on to work on homicide, which...
What did we do that for? Honestly.
Oh, let's go and deal with murders every day. That'll be all right, won't it? Fuck's sake. But anyway.
Anyway, yeah, jeez.
Right, so the
Get back on topic.
Get back on
topic. We can
topic.
talk all day about all sorts of stuff.
About it. But I mean, let's go back to when you went to hospital.
Yeah.
The inpatient unit for the second time.
Yeah, so the inpatient unit. I can remember, and I'm going to go back a little bit before that. So when I was an outpatient with Aidan, I used to go a couple of times a week.
Yeah.
I can remember being in one of these supported, obviously you got all the staff there and everything, in one of these kind of therapy groups. And there was a woman there, and I'll never forget her, and she was a GP.
Oh, she was an inpatient?
She was an inpatient. I was an outpatient, but we'd be in the same kind of groups.
Right.
And I thought to myself, what type of person, how can a GP be an inpatient at a psychiatric mother and baby unit? This is really odd. And it's not till then I was an inpatient and had a lot of conversations with people that actually people, mothers, fathers who are in a position where their profession, their work is very structured and they've got a reasonable amount of control, which you do, obviously being in the police, you control in certain situations, you know. When we have a child and we can't control our little fuckers, gets to rat shit, doesn't it?
Yeah. God, I think in this day and age, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't discriminate where you're from.
No.
Because I thought naively at that point, oh, this doesn't happen to me. It doesn't happen to, you know, how's a doctor got to this position and all the rest of it. It doesn't matter who you are, what type, you know, this whole chemical imbalance. And don't get me wrong, I think there are people that have clearly, like we've had, this chemical imbalance going on and trauma and whatever else. But how do you get to that point? It can happen to any of us. Anyone.
I've got a friend who you know, I won't name her. I am going to try and get her on. But she says
You're
to
coming
me...
on, Bab.
You're coming on.
Come on now.
She says to me, she'd had a real bout of anxiety and depression that literally came from nowhere. And she said, I do not know to this day where it came from. It just came out of nowhere. She's doing a lot better now. But I know that, like we all do, we can be fine one day and then we can just go downhill.
Yeah.
So go on then, tell me about that second time.
Oh, what do we need to know?
Well, I remember getting a call from you. I remember that you were struggling.
We're not talking about the next time, are you?
How many times? How many times were there, Laura?
The call when I phoned you.
Yeah, and I was at work.
And you were at work.
Yeah.
This is when the kids were a little bit older.
Yeah.
Are we talking about this time?
Was there another time in between?
No, I don't think so.
Well, that's the time I'm on about then.
Fucking hell, they were really rough times, weren't they?
Yes.
I mean, what? So we're talking I know the date, funny enough, clearly, because it's 2015.
Yeah.
I've had surgery on my hand, so my hand is a big factor in this, isn't it? As we know,
it is a huge factor.
Factor. Because the NHS tried to say they don't know what's wrong with me. The police tried to say I was lying and I hadn't been injured on duty and I was making it all up and all this shit. So you got all that going on in the background, yeah. But the hand's still a factor. And in 2014, I have this ligament reconstruction. I'm thinking life's going to be great. No, it wasn't great.
Yeah.
Something happened, and I can't remember the crux of it. But I phone you, don't I?
You phoned me. I was working at Bourneville Nick. I think it was a late shift.
Yeah, it was.
And it was fucking busy. It was always busy in there.
Yeah.
And I'm run off my feet as per, and you called me. And I think I probably didn't answer it, but then you called me straight back, so I knew there was a problem. Because you didn't just leave it. I'm like, right, you all right? No, I'm not fucking all right. Do you want me to tell my aspect? Yeah. I remember you saying to me, I can't cope anymore. You're on your own in the car.
Yeah.
You didn't have the kids with you. But you said to me, I'm going to drive my car off the motorway bridge.
Yeah.
And I'm going to end it all.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck. The buzzers are going. In the cell block and like the fucking doors are banging.
Yeah.
You know, and
people are coming in and out and
And I'm on the phone and you're going, I'm going to end it. And luckily, I had a contact number for a friend of yours.
Yeah.
And contacted her.
Yeah.
And explained, you were really good mates at the time. And I contacted her and said, right, this is what's going on. You need to help me. You need to get to her.
Yeah.
And I know that, because I can't exactly remember where you were, but I think they would have known where you were in terms of location. So I remember sort of orchestrating this fucking...
Honestly, I'm laughing about it, but geez.
We can now, but at the time it was bad. And I remember sort of orchestrating this... What can we call it? This
I don't know. Rescue mission. I don't know.
From where I was and them getting to you. And I remember you going into hospital that night.
I can remember. I'll tell you about this point. That night, you're talking about that night. I can remember, right, having smoked like 40 fags, right, made myself sick. And I'm going to drive off this motorway bridge. I know, but I'm thinking about who's on shift at this time and who's going to find me, and stuff like this is going through my head. So I'm, when people, and this is another topic, isn't it? The whole suicide thing of people going, people who commit suicide are selfish. No, they're not selfish. They're fucking desperate.
Yeah,
they're on their knees. There's no other way out.
Yeah.
Well, I was conscious about who would find me, which colleague would find me. Yeah. So I still had that, but the dog man finds me in the car.
Yes.
And I can remember him coming up to me and he leant on the car window and he said to me, Laura, now you're not going to drive off, are you? What we're going to do is I'm going to follow you to your mum's and blah, blah, blah. Everybody's been looking for you. And I said to him, do you think I'm fucking stupid? Of course I'm not going to drive off. You've got a police dog in the back of the car. Yeah. And I can remember laughing about it, even though obviously I was in this dire straits of...
Yeah. You were the worst I've ever seen you.
And somehow I ended up being an inpatient. So here you go. How random is this? So you're a police officer.
Yeah.
Inpatient.
Yeah.
On an adult psychiatric ward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very different to your nice mother and baby ward where they all look after you.
Oh, I remember coming to see you in there.
Oh, fuck a duck. Do you remember?
Yeah.
It was like being in prison.
Fighting over fags.
Yeah, fighting over fags. So I think I'd stopped smoking at this point. And I can remember one of the nurses used to go out and do a fag round.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I can't beat him, I've got to join him. I'm going to have to start smoking again. And it was like being in prison.
Yeah.
And there's two stories that stand out for me here, right? Bearing in mind, clearly I just needed a bit of help.
Yeah.
And there's some very poorly people in there, but there's also people in there that take the piss out of the system.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was this one woman, and she was disgusting. And she was like trying to wipe piss and, just all sorts of stuff going on. And she would start trying to attack everyone. And I can remember saying to the nurse one day, if you don't sort that bitch out, I'm not a violent person, but I cannot cope with her.
Yeah.
Get her out of my fucking face, lock her in a room, drug her, stab her in the arse with whatever they do. You know what they do.
Yeah, I know what they do.
Just sort it out. And it's in there that I learned how to roll fags.
Oh, okay. The roll-ups.
The roll-ups. I could never do roll-ups. Well, there was this one bird that the nurses used to do the roll-ups for her, and the nurses wouldn't do it. And she was obviously off a rocker at this point, and she really wants the roll-up.
Yeah.
And, I learned how to do roll-ups.
Brilliant.
But I'm a police officer at this point, and... Yeah. One of the nurses that used to look after me, they obviously all knew what I did.
Yes.
But we had to be very careful in the psychiatric unit that nobody else found out what I did.
Of course.
But the one day, you're going to like this story, I don't know whether you remember it, one of the nice nurses had said to me, oh, Laura, will you come along? I've got to take a couple of patients with me we're having a karaoke evening.
Brilliant.
Come out the ward.
You didn't invite me that night.
No. It's still within the hospital, so it's all locked. But this one nurse has got to escort these two people. So I'm there voluntarily because otherwise they're going to section me.
Yeah.
But these people are proper sectioned, right?
Yeah.
And will you come with me? All right then, me being me, And I can remember being in the front of the Barbary in this massive room where they do activities with a karaoke thing going on with all these nutters that are clearly very unwell and singing Cheer Up Sleepy Jean. At which point I've got my arms round like this nurse thing. Cheer up Sleepy Jean, like this. as two police officers get out of the car and they're bringing in a patient and they see me. I don't know them at this, I don't know them, fortunately.
Yeah.
I don't know whether they know me, but they're looking at me and I'm thinking, you're thinking, what a bunch of fucking letters. And I'm thinking, you want to watch out because this could be you.
Yes.
This can happen to anyone.
Yeah. I was doing what you're doing.
Yeah. Not so long ago.
Yeah.
And there I am in this unit.
Fucking hell. And that just shows how it doesn't discriminate.
No.
And honestly, we have to look after ourselves, don't we?
I can remember two lads in there, right, who were asking me if I want drugs. I can't remember what drugs it was. And I was just like, wow, this is like some real crazy place.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
Suicide watch,
Yeah. I remember coming to see you in there and I remember it being like mad.
It's manic, wasn't it?
And like prison.
It was like prison. Yeah, it was like prison.
And I remember it being very secure and scary.
You weren't killing yourself in there. That was not going to happen.
No.
You were never going to be able to kill yourself, and that's all I needed was somewhere to keep me safe.
I wonder if there has been any suicide in there since. I'm not sure. But
I don't know, but they got the medication right, didn't they? They got the
meds right.
Yeah.
And since then, I would say, now we're 9 years on, you've never been that bad since.
I don't know. I nearly phoned Samaritans a few weeks ago. I was joking with...
Why don't you phone me?
We're not going there. I was joking with my friend, my very good friend and business partner, and he actually volunteers for the Samaritans.
Okay.
And we were talking a few weeks ago and I said, oh, fucking hell. I said, I nearly phoned the Samaritans the other day. And because I was that low, and I'll tell you what it was some triggers. So we all get triggered, don't we?
Yes.
And the triggers were... I've had an injection in my hand.
Yeah.
So we're talking 2007, it's still fucking causing me problems.
Yeah.
And the hand consultant had said to me, you're going to have your injections every 6 months or you're going to have surgery. And I got a real downer on the police at this point because I'm thinking you've destroyed my life. I'm looking back, I'm being negative. And I'd gone to help my niece, George's mum. She was doing some cleaning at the nursery. My kids used to go to that nursery and that brought back, so that triggered things and it just triggered loads of anger. And I thought, but actually we can't look back.
We can't.
We can't.
I did see that you put something on Facebook about things triggering you and like things that make you angry.
Yeah.
And obviously now you've, what year did you leave the police?
3 years ago next month.
So what were you now, 24, 21?
21. November 21, yeah.
So you've been out of it for 3 years. Obviously, I've been out of it for a few years as well. And for me, I'm so much better than I was.
Yeah.
All the therapy I've had over the years, because it wasn't just that first 12 months that I had. I've been back several times.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've been on medication for a few years now.
Bring on the medication. Was I right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I will take it forever.
Yeah, yeah.
Forever.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I've never seen things so clearly since I've been on it.
Yeah.
My life's been so much better since I've been on it. And I mean, we'll be completely going off topic if I go into all the other reasons about that. That'll come on another episode, I'm sure. But I've been stable on it. But you were saying about things triggering you and holding on to the past and things like that. We've got to let it go.
Yeah.
Because it will just keep, the rumination will keep going and the anger will still keep coming. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's just certain things you've got to just leave where they are.
It's really hard, isn't it?
So please don't phone the Samaritans. Phone me. Well, phone them if you really need to. But I mean, phone me.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is that we all have the strength within us. We don't feel like we've got the strength to actually change our mindset of, I'm not wasting my life now looking back at what happened and fucking being miserable and oh, woe me and all the rest of it. No, because I can't control that because that's happened. I can't control what's going to happen in the future. We can only be now.
Yeah.
Can't we?
Yeah.
Because it's a waste of energy because everyone's tired. And what's the point in wasting your energy thinking about the past? Because that's just draining.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
It is. And I think if we can use the tools that we've been given, because you've had as much counselling as me, you know, if you can dig deep into that toolbox that you're given from, you know, that your healthy minds and your inpatient days and all of that, Do your meditation. Do your
reading.
mindfulness.
I've read a great book.
Do your reading. Whatever it is for you. Mine, as we know, I'm in the gym every day.
Yeah.
I, for the last God knows how many years, have never been in that dark place because I exercise every day. That's my thing, isn't it?
That's your coping strategy, isn't it? Yeah.
I like to go to the gym. Some days I don't want to do it. I have to do it. Music for me is a big one.
Yeah.
Reading
well, we
for
know
you.
this, don't we? Yeah.
Music's massive for me, isn't it?
Yeah,
and I know when I've been at my lowest lows. I know when I'm bad because I don't want to listen to music.
Yeah.
And because I get such a buzz out of it.
Yeah.
And it could be anything. But any type of music, I mean, and I would literally, I'm buzzing, I am. I'm walking the dogs and I've got a playlist on. I'll get goosebumps. That's how much music
You love it,
speaks to
don't
me.
you?
Yeah.
You're doing your music for the spin and all of that, and it's all about music.
And for years, I've been on that vibe. But I know when it's bad, when I don't want to listen to it.
Yeah.
And when I don't want to exercise.
Yeah.
And some days, fucking hell, of course you don't want to go to the gym. Last night, do you think I wanted to? It was pissing down with rain. It's dark and it's cold. I don't want to go out, but I had to because I've got a class of people waiting for me.
Yeah.
6 o'clock this morning when my alarm went off. I just want to hit snooze and go back to sleep.
Yeah.
But I've got a class of people waiting for me at 7 o'clock. So I turn up and I do the class and I feel amazing when I walk out.
Yeah.
So I have to do it every day because otherwise I know where it will take me and we don't want to go there.
Going down that slippery slope,
We're not going
isn't
there
it?
again.
I'm definitely not going there again, I can tell you that much.
No way.
Too much.
So support-wise, if there is anyone listening to this that's had any of those thoughts. Now, you've talked about wanting to hurt yourself, wanting to hurt your kids. I would say these are extreme levels, it is. I mean, there's intrusive thoughts,
Yeah.
And I've had intrusive thoughts before. I think a lot of people have intrusive thoughts.
I think everyone has had intrusive thoughts.
Yeah. But there's to the point where you can rationalise it and there's the point where you are unsafe.
Yeah.
And I think for us, well, for anybody that's experiencing anything like that, where can they go?
Do you know, this is a really good question, isn't it? Because lots of people, you hear lots of stories about, mental health crisis and there's not enough support, there's not enough this. And that's probably true. I've been very fortunate that all of the help and support I've got, and some people haven't got family members I can turn to, or friends, like I phoned you. Who can you phone in the middle of the night when you're desperate? Some people haven't got that support, so where do they turn?
Yeah.
And I'm an advocate for Samaritans.
Yeah.
Things like that. When you need, there are lots of charities out there that ultimately, we know this, at night time when it's dark, when you're by yourself and you've got time to think about things, where do you turn? And there's loads of charities that you can phone and Samaritans will just listen to you.
Yeah.
And sometimes we just need someone to listen. We just want to rant to someone that's impartial.
Yeah.
But here's another thing I was going to say. We've got to learn as a society, I think, to help ourselves. Yes. Because you've got to help yourself. You can't keep relying on external support when actually we can do some of it ourselves.
Yeah, and that's what I think the CBT often gives you sort of like homework to do. So you go to an appointment and they'll say, right, you've got an appointment again with us next week. And between now and then, I want you to do X, Y and Z.
Yeah.
And that might be what's it called?
No point asking me, is there?
Diary.
Oh,
sleep diary.
Sleep diary.
Do a sleep diary.
Yeah,
if sleep's the thing that's bothering you, you do a sleep diary. Right, here's the things and here's the triggers. Right, what did you eat or drink or do on that day that made you have a bad sleep?
Yeah.
I remember doing them years ago when sleep was a particular issue for me. Not a fucking issue for me now. Head hits that pillow and I'm gone. But I remember it being an issue.
Yeah.
And I remember doing sleep diaries and them saying, right, well, on that day and that day. And that's the reason why now I don't have caffeine in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Because I remember at the time thinking, well, I had a cup of tea or a coffee at that time and then I couldn't sleep or whatever. But that night I didn't and I had a bath and then I slept like a fucking baby.
Yeah.
So it was all these things that you can do to help yourself. And it's when you actually zone in on what you're doing, you can help yourself.
You can. You probably don't feel like you can though.
Because it seems minor. But actually, when you strip everything back, what is it that we actually need in life, really? Okay? We don't need fucking social media and we don't need
absolutely not
this, that and the other.
No.
We need to look after ourselves, so we need sleep.
We need the right nutrition.
Right nutrition.
Because we all know that when we eat shit, I'm like that, aren't I? I'll go through eating shit for months and months and months, wonder why I feel shit.
Yeah.
Because guess what? You're putting shit into your body, so you're going to feel like shit, aren't you?
I think you eat well, you sleep well.
Yeah. exercise. Get outside.
Get outside. Sunlight and have a walk.
Get off the fucking phone.
Be mindful. All of that stuff is all you need, really.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
apart from if you've got a chemical imbalance, at which point you might need some medication, obviously.
Yeah, but you can help yourself.
Yeah.
By doing the basics, can't you? So I would say if anyone needs anything or any sort of support and you don't feel like you've got anyone to turn to, well, the email address comes up for this podcast at the end. They can drop me an email and I'll try and point you in the right direction.
Absolutely.
But I think if you've got someone to talk to, you need to talk to them. If you've got a GP, you need to go to them. If, a self-referral to, Birmingham have got Healthy Minds. I'm sure that not everywhere's got that.
I don't know,
but there will be some sort of self-referral
of course there will.
that you can do.
Yeah.
That you can bypass the GP and just refer yourself.
I
can't speak highly enough of them.
Yeah.
They've helped me so many times over the years.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Oh,
this is before, I don't know if I spoke to you about menopause. Where are you with menopause? Are you not there yet?
I'm not there. So I'm 45. Funny enough, because I had a conversation so I've started going to CrossFit, as you know.
Yeah.
Because I need to get my head after this whole thing of I might phone the Samaritans.
Yeah.
I need to sort my own shit out, actually.
Yeah.
So I go to CrossFit.
Yeah.
But I know it's going to hurt my hand, but that's okay because it's better to have better mental health.
Yeah.
And there's a lady there, I'm not going to mention her name, retired GP. And we got onto the conversation of menopause because a lot of the women there at the gym are going through and they're having a really rough time.
Yeah.
It's not really been on my radar, but it probably should be on my radar.
It should be.
Because everyone's talking about it. And she was a specialist in HRT and
put me up, will you?
Yeah. So she's basically given me a top tip for I'm just going to avoid it.
Oh, okay.
Because I've got the coil at the moment because, I'm petrified about having another baby. Poor Neil's had the snip and I've still got the coil just in case, type thing anyway. So, so I've got plans. So I'm going to have a new coil next year. That's going to take me 10 years. That's going to see me through. So, but the whole HRT and stuff.
Yes.
That programme on whatever it's called,
it was
BBC.
on Panorama this week on BBC,
it.
And someone at the gym recommended her, Dr. Newson, to me, the Newson Clinic.
Oh, actually recommended that clinic?
My friend from the gym who's been coming to my spin classes every week, lovely lady, knows her shit. She said to me, you need to look up the Newson Clinic. They've helped me no end. I wrote it down.
Wow.
I wrote it down in my notes on my phone.
As we do.
But never ever got round to doing it because I'm so fucking busy. And then I saw her in the news. And then it said Panorama's going to be showing this. Well, obviously Monday night or whatever night it was, gets back, switch Panorama on. Now I love the telly. And I'm in. I'm in.
Yeah.
Because it's very, very topical for me at the minute because I've got 2 patches on at the minute. And I've been on the HRT for a few months. It's helped me in terms of I don't fall asleep every 5 minutes now.
So how did I not know that
I've got 2 patches on at the minute.
Yeah, but this is like, when we said at the beginning, we've come here to catch up because your life's so busy. Clearly, I'm not busy, but your life's so busy. How did I not know this?
Don't know. Because it's one of them things that you just get on with. I went to the doctors and I was like, keep fucking falling asleep. And everyone's going, you're doing too much, Hayley, you're doing too much. You're on that bike every day, you're working full time, the dogs, the kids, the house. You're doing it all on your own.
Business.
Your business.
Yeah.
Yes, I am busy, but I'm falling asleep all the time. I could literally put my head on the desk and I'd be gone.
I've just got this think of,
gone.
So you're serious, yeah?
So I'm fucking serious. So I go to the doctors and I go, fucking keep falling asleep all the time. Anyway, 3 lots of bloods later over the course of months.
Yeah.
They first off told me that they thought I'd got TB. Absolute joke.
What's TB?
Tuberculosis.
Oh, stop it.
Now.
Yeah.
So I was like, I haven't got fucking TB, have I? I'm ill. I'm just, because I was sweating loads at night.
Yes, remember this. So I do know about this.
You know about this. It's been happening for years probably.
Yeah.
So that's how it started with the bloods.
Okay.
That 3 lots later, they say you've got no estrogen. Take this HRT.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Give it. First of all, they gave it to me, and that little bit of scared to take medication crept back in. And I kept the prescription and didn't
of course you
put
did.
it on for ages. I thought, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I was on my knees at one point. I thought, fucking slap that bastard on. And I was like, right, just anyway. 2 weeks later, I was back to myself. I was fully flying. I was like, yes, this is what I need.
So you slapped a patch on?
Yeah. And I've never looked back.
Wow.
There was a point, some party or something going on there. There was a point where I went on holiday and the sun cream kept making it come off.
Oh, of course it did, yeah.
So they prescribed me a gel, went back to square one. gel's not for me. So I went back on the patches.
Okay.
Then I go to the doctors. I need another little boost. Like, I'm getting a little bit tired and like back to having a nap here and there. She's given me another patch now. It's just estrogen only.
Right.
So now I've got 2 patches on and I'm all right. I mean, I can still nap like that, but I
obviously,
am just, like, tired.
Yeah.
And is Carl sorting out the audio?
Good old Carl sorting out the audio.
Someone's having a party outside.
Yeah, Carl's not editing any of this. We've talked about that.
We've already talked about this. So,
so this programme then, Panorama.
Wow. She's got, like, I want to say something like 45,000 clients, patients.
Yeah, it is about that.
45,000 patients, yeah?
Yeah.
And about 15 of them, I think, have said, well, that hasn't worked for me. Now, I don't think they're bad stats, to be fair. Because if you've got 45,000 patients, clients, customers, whatever, and 15 of them aren't happy, now I'm saying it's 15, that's what I read in the paper.
Yeah.
I think that's all right. It can't work for everyone, surely.
No, nothing. It's not one size fits all, is it?
No.
As we know.
Yeah. And they talk about over-prescribing.
Yes.
And things like that.
Yeah.
Now, I'm on GP prescribed. So I'm on 50 microgram maybe.
Yeah.
I did check it actually because I was really interested from the programme to see what I was on. So I think...
So the prescribed limit's 100, isn't it? Yeah.
And I'm on 50.
Yeah.
Now I'm on this extra 25 estrogen only.
Yeah.
I'm feeling all right. You know, I'm tired, I'm busy, but I'm not falling asleep every 5 minutes. And the brain fog's gone to a degree because there was one point a few weeks ago and I was foggy.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling all right on it. Anyway, I don't know, she's had some bad press, basically.
She's had a lot of bad press, hasn't she?
And I was thinking, come on now, like, this can't work for everybody. Just like most meds, there's got to be a side effect or it might not work for you, warning.
Yeah.
Surely.
Because what works for me...
might not work for me.
Might not work for you.
So I am supportive of it and I thought, she knows her shit clearly because she's helped loads of women.
Yeah, but my question is, so I was thinking about this, is that why do women... So you put... It's like when you get married or you have a christening or something, you put menopause on it and everything costs a fortune. So tell me why people are...
cashing in.
Yeah. So why aren't they just going to the GP? And I know GPs are busy and shit, but that's life.
Yeah.
Because me, if I need some help, I'm going to the GP. I'm not finding a...
Yeah, and that's fine. And GPs can prescribe, but then other areas, say a specialist in menopause, will be able to prescribe a different amount, For example, I'm on medication for endometriosis.
Yeah.
I've been on that for years and it is not licensed. I take 2 of these tablets a day. It's not licensed to take 2 a day for more than 3 months. Now, I've been on 2 a day for over 5 fucking years.
Yeah.
Has that put me into an early menopause? Who knows? But that's it's not through the GP, is it? So
we're talking about women who are so desperate and so poorly with different symptoms, for menopausal symptoms, that they're seeking private help.
Yeah. I'm paying for it. And
I'm paying for it. Yeah.
My medication that I'm on for my mental health, GP can't prescribe that. They can repeat it once you've had so many reviews through the psychiatrist, but they couldn't initially prescribe it for me.
What the hell?
Yeah. It ain't your sertraline or your citalopram.
It's not that, what's that one everybody talks about?
Prozac. It's not Prozac.
Amitriptyline.
No.
Fucking diazepam.
No.
Yeah.
But so they're specialists, aren't they, in other areas,
so
they can prescribe what they know is safe and what you need and tailor it to you. So, there's got to be... She knows what she's doing. She's clearly an
absolutely.
expert.
Yeah.
Anyway, your SpinJustice of the week.
Fuck it, duck. SpinJustice of the week. Let me tell you. Right. So I bought M&S, as we know. We like M&S, don't we? Got a sports bra after from M&S. When I was doing my online shop for M&S, I seen some pants that come up. Yeah. And the pants are no VPL. I need some pants for the gym.
I know the ones you're on about.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because I'm either commando or I ain't got the right pants on and they're going up the wrong bits. So I see these pants, I think, great. And obviously they're quite expensive, aren't they, M&S?
M&S are, yeah.
So I ordered these pants. Today's the first day I thought, I'm not obviously gone to the gym this morning because I'm out of time, but actually I'll put these pants on and I'll wear them and see how comfy are. They lied.
Is there a VPL?
Hold on.
Oh, God.
Is there a VPL? There is.
No, I can feel there is. No. Just because you can feel it, I can't see it.
Oh, I'm going to put some leggings on when I go to the gym tomorrow, and I'm going to send you a picture.
Please
so
do.
I feel very aggrieved by that because I spent, I don't know, 10 quid on like whatever.
Now listen to me. M&S underwear.
M&S, yeah.
I wouldn't go nowhere else. I always buy my underwear from there. Always the same 3-pack of black thongs, right?
Right.
All everywhere. And they are expensive, you're right. But the quality
yeah.
and the comfort,
yeah.
second to none. So I agree.
But that is a bit of injustice if it's been sold as no VPL.
But you've bought.
What does VPL mean anyway?
It's a bought panty line.
Right, okay.
For fuck's sake. You didn't even know what it meant.
Oh, no.
How can it be injustice if you didn't even know what it meant?
I just know it's got a line on it, you know, because when you're at the gym and you're squatting or whatever and you're looking and you're thinking, yeah.
Please try a thong.
Yeah, I've got thongs. They keep going up different places and stuff.
Try an M&S, no VPL thong, please.
M&S, no VPL thong.
Yeah.
Or just no pants. I'll just go back to no pants.
Fine.
Okay, anyway. So that's mine. Yeah, go on.
Mine is fucking price of everything. Now, you like your M&S, I like my M&S. I shop in Sainsbury's. The reason I shop in Sainsbury's is because there's a Sainsbury's in Northfield that's quite big and spacious.
Yeah.
It doesn't stress me out as much as Aldi.
Aldi's very stressful situation.
Aldi stresses me.
Yeah.
I have to go when it's very, very quiet if I'm going to Aldi because I get too stressed in there.
Yeah.
Sainsbury's in Northfield has got a nice big aisle. I like the aisles. I know where everything is. I do the scan and shop. I'm in and out. 20 minutes. Full shop.
Yeah.
Fine.
Okay.
The fucking price. Now, I'm going to tell you, Muller Light yogurts.
Yeah.
I think we were talking 6 Muller Light yogurts. Not a corner. We're not talking a corner. I'm talking a normal...
Proper yogurt.
Yeah. £5. 6 yogurts.
A £5?
Absolutely not going in my basket, I'm telling you now. So I'm walking around Sainsbury's doing my shopping.
Yeah.
And the price of everything. Now, I'm savvy with it, yeah, because I've had to be for years and years. I'm on my own. I've got one wage coming in. Bare mouths to feed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, round those aisles, and I know what's where. I use my nectar prices.
Yeah.
Right. And I know that, like, so I'll shop for what's on offer. We'll get yogurts. We just ain't getting them yogurts.
Yeah.
I'm paying a fucking £5.
Yeah.
So it was the price of food in general, shopping in general. I'm going to say so much of my money goes on food. Those boys don't stop eating. Those dogs don't stop eating.
No.
Everyone, I don't stop eating. So everything goes on food, right? And then, I know you've done it earlier on because I saw you do it, topping up the dinner money.
The stress of topping up how much do they have a month?
Exactly. No,
60 quid?
Every day. Would you every day buy yourself a meal deal for $3.50? Because
you
a meal
wouldn't.
deal's $3.50, yeah, Sainsbury's, Tesco's, whatever.
Yeah.
You're talking a meal, a snack.
And a drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you buy yourself that
I wouldn't.
every day?
No,
I wouldn't.
So why are these bastard kids having it?
And
our kids are having the life of Riley.
They're rubbing us blind. And it's all fingerprint. Tap, tap, tap. Ringing me up, texting me. I've got no money, I'm a parent pay. And like a twat, there I am. Okay, son, no problem. Don't want to go hungry.
Yeah, I'll just go without food so you can... Well, Rose, talking about the price of everything, she's there buying a drink every day. I'm saying to her, I bought you some drinks, 4-pack from Aldi, still flavoured water, take a drink every day. Yeah. Because now I'm not topping it up with 50 or 60 quid for the month.
Yeah.
I'm going to top it up per week. If they can't keep within the limit and take a drink out the cupboard, I'm paying. I don't buy myself drinks.
No, exactly. And I've started doing that. Multi-packs of flavoured water. They do take a drink. I'm sure they still buy drinks.
Need to check on the
but
receipt.
It's not always accurate.
Oh, mine is, you see. Fizzy fucking Radler Fizz. It's all about Radler Fizz. Sometimes it's 2 in a day, Radler Fizz. Oh, stop it, honestly.
So,
drive you mad.
I buy like multi-bags of crisps.
Yeah.
I must get through 30 bags of crisps a week.
Yeah.
So they take a pack of crisps, a chocolate bar. I'm not talking about a blue ribbon. I'm talking a Galaxy, Kit
obviously,
Kat, fucking Dairy Milk.
Yeah. Cadbury's Caramel.
Yeah. So I'm talking
proper chocolate.
McCoy's, yeah.
Yeah.
Creme de la creme.
Yeah.
A nice chocolate bar and a fucking flavoured water in the bag every day. Because they won't take a packed lunch. I'll make you a sandwich. They won't. I'll make you a wrap. I'll make you anything you want, yeah? They won't have it.
Of course they won't.
Why?
Because they're spoiled.
Yes.
Back in our day.
Yeah. So now they're taking a crisp and a chocolate and a drink.
Yeah.
And then they're spending all my money in the fucking canteen, which ain't cheap either, by the way.
No.
Not fucking cheap.
Not
That's
cheap.
my injustice of the week. Sick to death of it.
Sick to death of it, yeah.
Right, give me a shout out.
Shout out. I don't know who we're shouting out. Who are you shouting out?
SW.
Well, I didn't think I would shout that out, to be honest.
No.
I just thought I'd shout out to people. So, as we know, just a quick shout out, that I've left the police and took medical retirement because clearly I've been very unwell. Yeah. But the only reason I could do that is because I built a business.
Yes.
Is this right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I've built a business because I wanted to be at home with my family when I need to be. I don't want to be at work when somebody tells me I want to be at work.
You didn't want to be at home with your family 10 years ago.
This is it. Is that how times have changed?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Aren't I blessed now?
You are.
Because I do want to be with them now.
Yes,
Thank God I didn't kill myself.
Thank God.
Anyway, shout out is anybody that doesn't want to be at work, guess what? You don't have to get to work because there's loads of other options out there, isn't there?
Yeah. Build up your own little empire.
Build an empire, whatever you want to do. Look at you. We've had this conversation about building businesses,
Do what you want.
Do what you want. Life's too short.
My shout out is
Be like me.
Be like Laura.
Or not in the younger day.
Yeah.
But now, yeah.
Now.
Come on then, shout out. Who are we shouting out for?
Lacey Collar is mine. So that's Sam. My friend Sam's got a baby clothes business.
Yeah.
Toddlers, babies and toddlers.
Yeah,
clothes.
yeah.
She does a knitting. She does personalised jumpers.
Does she?
Yeah, she'll come round to mine for a cup of tea, or I'll go round to her. She's got knitting out. She's doing a knitting, stitching all these jumpers. Great, very creative.
Yeah. Not like
teacher,
us then.
not like
No.
So Lacey Collar.
Lacey Collar.
That's my shout out for this week.
Babies, toddlers.
Yeah.
Okay. Need to get Abby Treadwell hands onto this because she likes things like this.
Okay.
Just note to self.
Okay.
Write it in the phone.
Come on, we've had enough for one day. Carl's sick to death of us.
I need a vape. That's all there is to it, isn't there?
Let's call it a day.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I think that's it. I think that's it, Carl.
If you have a topic that you want to discuss, get in touch at B31SpinJustice@gmail.com or via Instagram @SpinJustice.